Hello crochet fans, Tashia Butterfield here, alpaca rancher and crochet instructor. Welcome to Forever Bliss Crochet. Last week we talked about 3 ways in which you can work into the foundation chain, and at the end I briefly talked about the Chainless Foundation Stitches. You may have been curious how to actually make them. So today I'm going to show you how to make the Chainless Foundation Single Crochet, Half Double Crochet, and Double Crochet stitches. Now these stitches are not really named accurately because they're not chainless. We make the chain at the same time that we make the stitch. This means that there's never going to be a question about making too few or too many chains. And this fabric is also stretchy. We start every stitch with the number of chains that you would use for the turning chain of that stitch plus 1. We're going to start with the single crochet, so it is 1 chain for the turning chain plus 1, which is really meant for the chain that we are making along with this stitch. If you watched last week's video, you understand what I mean when I say we are going to be going into the, pick up my needle, top loop and back ridge of the very first chain that we made, the one that's right next to your slip knot. So place your hook underneath there. Yarn over and pull a loop up. When you pull this first loop up, I recommend that it is a little bigger than what you think it should be. This loop is going to become the chain of this stitch. And just like when you're making a foundation chain, you want those chains to be loose, a bit bigger than you would make a chain anywhere else. So make this loop just a little bit bigger. I kind of give it an extra little tug and bring it up a little. Our next step is going to be to yarn over and just pull through 1 because we are making the chain. That leaves us with 2 loops, so we yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. When we're making this, we're actually building off the side of the stitches as we go up. So the bottom is to the left and the top of the stitch is to the right. Now this is going to be for right-handers. For left-handers, obviously it's going to be flipped for you. But knowing that the chain is off to the left side, again, we are looking for the top loop and the back ridge of that chain. So there's 2 ways that you can look for it. For one, the top loop is a pretty long loop on the left side here. And just behind it is that back ridge. Once you find the top loop, it's not too hard to find that back ridge. So we'll go under those 2 parts. Remember to go under 2 parts because if you go under 1, all you're going to do is stretch out that 1 loop and it's going to look really funny. So go under 2, that's going to give you stability. Yarn over, pull loop up. Remember to stretch it out just a little bit, and you can play around with how stretched out that needs to be with your gauge and with your project. Test it, but eventually you'll find out how far up you need to tug that loop. Well, yarn over, pull through 1, that's the chain. Yarn over, pull through 2, that is the single crochet. Now, if you noticed, I did not move my left thumb. My left thumb is pointing at the loop in which I need to go under next. It's the top loop of that chain. So what I tend to do, after I come through, I pull my loop up, right? Make that loop a little bigger. I move my thumb up here right to the base of where I'm working because when I make the chain for that stitch, my thumb is now pointing to that top loop. So if you have a hard time seeing it, mark it with your thumb. Yarn over, go through 2 for the single crochet. And you can talk to yourself as you're working through this. Go through the chain, pull up, yarn over, go through 1, that's a chain, yarn over, go through 2, that is the single crochet. Chain, single crochet, chain, single crochet. Eventually you get into a groove. So here we have our row of Chainless Foundation Single Crochet Stitches. You can see the V's across the top and you can count them just like any other single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches. For the half double, we're going to start with 2 chains, which is the turning chain of a half double, plus 1, because that's for the chain. So we start off with 3. Yarn over, because that's how we start a half double crochet stitch. And again, going all the way back to the chain that's sitting next to the knot, the very first chain that we made, going underneath the top loop and the back ridge. Yarn over, pull up a loop. There's 3. Remember, this new loop here needs to be a little bigger because you're going to yarn over and only go through that one, making your chain. Here's your remaining 3 loops in which we pull through to do the half double. Yarn over, come down here to the chain in which your thumb is already pointing at. Yarn over, pull up a loop that you're going to make it a little big, right? Chain, half double. Chain, half double. Chain, half double. 1, 2, 3, 4 half double crochets, but I would recommend that you treat this starting chain like it's a stitch. My experience is that if you don't work into the top of it and treat it like a stitch, it just hangs off the side and looks funny. So it's easiest to think that 1, 2, 3, 4, this is 5 stitches. And I just incorporate that into my fabric, treating it like it's a regular half double crochet stitch. Now we're ready to do the foundation double crochet stitch. And as you can imagine, we are starting with 3 for the turning chain, plus 1 for the chain. So we're starting with 4 for the half double. Yarn over, coming back to the first chain we made under the top loop in the back ridge. Yarn over, pull through, pull that loop up, yarn over, go through 1, that's the chain. Still got the remaining 3 to complete the double crochet stitch. Yarn over, come back down here where I have been pointing with my thumb. Yarn over 1, or I should say yarn over chain, that's the chain, and double crochet. Oop, missed it. Chain, double crochet. These are giving me troubles. There we go. Okay, sometimes it happens. Chain, double crochet. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochet stitches plus the chain that we started off with, which again you want to treat like a double crochet stitch. You do not want this hanging off the side. It will definitely look funny, so incorporate that into your fabric and treat it like a stitch substitute. Thanks for joining me today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share with anyone who would benefit from it. And remember to subscribe to my channel. If you have ideas for future video topics, please leave me a comment below. See you in the next video.